All right, let's go to Ed Schultz. So, Mel, I don't know if you heard about this, but apparently Ed Schultz died.
I did not know that.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, here we go. So this is, I see articles here from The Hill. I see articles from Breitbart, and, you know, they're reliable. But yeah, it's on Wikipedia. Yeah, it looks like this is official, or this is I mean, unless it's like a very, very successful hoax. But it's looking like this is pretty legit here, that Ed Schultz has died. Let's go to the Hill article. Former MSNBC host Ed Schultz dies. This is from the Hill. Liberal commentator Ed Schultz died at his lake home in Minnesota, according to a report on Thursday. He died of natural causes. He was 64. He started his career in Fargo before eventually working as a commentator and host at MSNBC. And you guys know some of the rest of the story there. He wanted to cover Bernie Sanders. They told him, "We don't want you to cover Bernie Sanders," so they fired him. That's what happened to Ed Schultz. M. Schultz, MSNBC show. This is from the article now. Ed Schultz's MSNBC show was canceled in 2015, and in January 2016, he joined RT America, the English-language Russian news channel. The Kremlin-backed RT is frequently criticized as state propaganda and was forced to register as a foreign agent by the Justice Department last year. Couldn't resist a stab at RT. Even when talking about a guy's death, they couldn't resist it. Couldn't resist taking a shot at RT there. Here, let me redo that sentence. The Kremlin-backed RT is frequently criticized as state propaganda and forced to register as a foreign agent as a result of neo-McCarthyism that's going on in the United States as a result of the Democrats not being able to own a loss. I redid that there a little bit. RT completes the picture of the events in the U.S. and around the globe, giving viewers access to a range of stories, voices, and opinion, and a real opportunity to speak their mind, Schultz said upon his hiring. Yeah, RT never told Ed Schultz he couldn't cover Bernie Sanders. RT never did that. RT America is also an American bureau run by journalists. That's what it is. Just like we have other bureaus in this country. Just like we have bureaus in other countries. That's kind of how you exchange ideas in an international marketplace. But again, RT America is a scapegoat these days because of the neo-McCarthyism that is upon us. Mel, any thoughts on Ed Schultz? And we're going to go to the chat too.
You know, more than Ed Schultz, I mean, the whole RT issue, it's coming more and more into a time where it looks like even our news is getting censored, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, just the Farah thing was absolutely repulsive, what happened to them. I mean, that Farah existed as a way to combat actual Nazis. Like it was there because of Nazis. And we haven't used it on a media outlet since, I believe, the 40s. And they used it on RT America, which is just totally an American bureau. I mean, it's kind of disturbing what's going on. And Ed Schultz, I mean, he was a guy that was committed to the truth. Admittedly, I wasn't super familiar with his show, but I did watch it at times. I did appreciate the fact that he had the courage to want to cover Bernie Sanders, and he had the courage to call out the establishment for stifling Bernie Sanders. You know, MSNBC didn't want to cover Bernie Sanders. They showed an empty podium for Donald Trump instead of covering Bernie Sanders because they thought it was her turn. So they didn't want to talk about Bernie. Ed Schultz was one of the few guys that had the courage to say, hey, this isn't right. This guy is making some waves. This guy is inciting a revolution. So what did they do to Ed Schultz? They fired him. If you're committed to the truth, if you're committed to the grassroots, you don't last long on MSNBC. You don't last long on CNN. You certainly don't last long on Fox News. The corporate media ousts you because they need to ignore that grassroots, because that grassroots is a threat to their status quo. Mel, I bet as an activist committed to homelessness, I bet MSNBC hounds you daily to appear on their network, don't they?
Every day.
Every day they hit you up. And CNN, Fox News, they hit you up all the time too.
Nothing more pressing to national media than homelessness.
I mean, you got to swat the requests away. You're like, guys, I don't have time for all this. I know you really want to help me spread the word. No, in actuality, Mel, how often do you get any press request from the corporate media?
You know, it's very little. We have to push for it to get the media out. And what I've literally had reporters tell me, hey, people don't care. And that's that. They use that as an angle not to cover it. So it's sad because, in LA, everywhere you go, Pasadena to Hollywood, there's encampments everywhere. And it's like, okay, as long as we pretend we don't see it, everything's okay.
Now, let me ask this though, local media wise, how does that go for you? Is that a little more extending of the olive branch, or no?
Local media does cover it a little bit, but unfortunately, they don't always make the connection to a lack of affordable housing. They don't make the connection into why it exists. They talk about, oh, there's a lot of the homelessness is out of control, but they never really go to the root, and they're afraid to talk about the politics behind it.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. That was a clip from Get Your News On with Ron, the world's first viewer-curated streaming news show. What does that mean? That means I log on to a stream and people tweet me articles over on Twitter at Ron Placone, or they use our Reddit subsection, which is just Get Your News On with Ron over on Reddit. And that's how we build the show. I'm seeing all these articles for the first time. We are literally getting our news on together. Follow me on Twitter at Ron Placone so you can participate. And this show streams live every Tuesday through Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So please do tune in. If you want to support this show, you can do so over on patreon.com/Ron Placone, where for as low as $1 a month, you get access to exclusive podcasts every week, exclusive videos, free tickets to shows when I'm performing in your town, and more for as low as $1 a month. Please do consider it. Thank you so much for your support. This has been Get Your News On with Ron.